Yeah, yeah.
Okay, and thank you. Good morning, all. My name is Mahesh. I'm Computer Science Department faculty, and today I'm very glad to let you know that. And today we are conducting a webinar on Python programming, and our resource person is from Geetham University, and his name is Mujib Sheikh Mohammed, and he's an associate professor in Computer Science Department at Geetham University, and I will let you know his profile. And he completed his PhD from JNTU Anantapur, and he completed his MTech in artificial intelligence from the University of Hyderabad. And he's having at around 12 years of teaching experience. He's a very pleasant person, and he's having 3 patents which he published, and he is part of many journals and publications. And I'm very glad to let you know, and maybe another person whose name is Mr. Giridhar, and who is our upcoming principal. And sir, thank you for accepting our request and coming as principal for our college.
Thank you.
Right, sir. And I will let you know on his profile, and it's a very lengthy profile to let you know all. And he's having a bunch of experience where he's having 27 years of experience and many publications, many books. I will let you know all those. And he completed his BE from BE, MTech, all these things from computer engineering from JNU Anantapur, PhD from JNU Anantapur, and he is into different sectors like head of the department, principal, dean, director. Presently, he's working as principal, and he's author for 8 textbooks and 7 chapters, 7 book chapters. He published more than 85 technical papers. Okay, and sir, you have a lot of patience, I think so. To publish 85 papers,
Thank
it's
you.
not that much
Thank you.
easy. And then uh, is the editorial board member to 32 international and 12 national journals, and he's an active reviewer of IEEE elsewhere peer review journals. He has very good connection with industries like Red Hat, Oracle. That means, and he's having a nice rapport with MNC companies, and he's having many awards, and I will let you know few awards. And he is AP Best Computer Teacher Award in the year 2012 as well as 2010 also. After that, and which he got in the year of 2012. Sorry, it's 2014, and he received appreciation from Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, which is a big event, and which is a dream for each and every member to get appreciation from the people like APJ Abdul Kalam. Okay, and, sir, shall we proceed towards the webinar? Shall we start, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, and I would like to request Mr. Mujib to proceed. Thank you all.
Yeah. Can you give me a brief introduction about the audience? Means they're from which stream or what is the year?
Okay, and our audience are from computer science department as well as EC and Triple E people, and who are part of K. Warren College of Engineering. Okay,
Okay.
and K. Warren College is located at Kadapa, which is towards on the road Pulivendila, and having 15
Ah,
years of experience. That means it has been established before 15 years.
Yeah.
okay, good.
Thank you, Mr. Mahesh. Before going to
Thank you.
proceed,
Thank you.
let me to talk few words because all the final year students are there in the auditorium, I think, right? So,
Yes,
good
yes.
morning to all. Good morning, students. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir. They are
Yeah.
able to hear. We
So,
have
this
we have
yeah, the
in
webinar,
English.
the webinar on Python programming is very important nowadays because here at Hyderabad or in the metro cities like Chennai or Bangalore and the other metro cities, the IT sector is purely depending on coding and all, and they're basically concentrating on programming tools like Python programming language. Like why? Because now we are going to talk about the buzzwords like Internet of Things, data science, cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, machine learning, virtual reality, augmented reality, so computer vision and all these things, right? So when we are going to talk about all these applications in the basic core sector of IT industry, so this Python programming is playing very vital role. So, dear students, So we will continue this type of programs or this type of technical activities in KORM. And I would like to thank Mr. Muzib, who is the doctorate in computer science and engineering from JNTU Anantapur. And he has accepted our invitation to present his session on Python programming. And I would like to thank Mr. Madhu, then Reddy Murali, Reddy Prasanna ma'am, and most importantly, the management like Shiva Reddy sir and as well as Likita madam, who has totally accepted to organize such type of events. And in the coming days, of course, we would like to continue this type of technical temper among the students, and we'll also conduct some cultural activities also. So this is what I would like to say. And now I would like to invite Dr. Muzi, who is a doctorate in a computer science and engineering department, to continue the session. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Okay. Generally, I would like to prefer to have an interaction session, but still, don't worry. We'll try to do it. Okay. First, to start with, I would say that I am also from Rayalaseema. My hometown is Kadri. You might have heard of it.
Yeah,
So from there,
Anantapur district.
yeah, Anantapur district. From there, I came here and settled down in Hyderabad. So today, what I was planning is I will be starting with Python basics. Is my voice clear? Just raise your hands,
Yeah, yeah, your
students.
voice is clear, bro.
Yeah, good. If you want, yeah, good. At least in between, I'll ask you to raise your hand and you please do it so that I know that you are connected to me. Fine. Okay. Out of Python and Java, which you think is an older language, Python or Java? How many of you will vote for Python? Python is older. And how many of you vote for Java? Java is a older language. You can raise your hands now. It should be interaction, okay? Interactive session. Otherwise, I would have given a recorded video. Good. So majority of votes are going for what? Java to be an older language. Okay, because Python we have been listening about or we have been heard about Python in the recent years. Yes, but for Java we have been listening about Java from way too long back. 1 second, let me share the screen. Is my screen visible? Uh, okay. So if you see here, when was Java invented? Java was invented in 1995. Okay. And coming back to Python, when was Python invented? It was invented in what? 1991. So which is the older language? Is Java or Python? Yes. Now do you agree that Java is the older language than Python or Python is older than Java? Okay. So it's clearly shown that Python is 4 years, okay, older than Java, because Java being in 1995 and Python being in what, 1991. Then why there is a sudden change of trend now? Okay, why suddenly Python came into picture? Okay, all of a sudden what happened? I will tell you few reasons about it. Don't worry. Okay, first we'll so in today's session, I'll zoom it a bit. Is the font size okay? Just raise your hand if the font size was okay. Here. Yes, font size is okay. Good. Fine. So in today's session, what we'll be doing is, okay, we'll be learning about basics of Python that covers basic data types and containers or collections we say it as. And here we'll be learning only four different types that are list, dictionary, set and tuples. Then we'll have a overview of functions and then classes. Okay. what is Python? Okay, Python is an interpreted high level language. Okay, it is an interpreted, not compiled. What is an example of compiled language? C, C++ are compiled language, whereas Python is what? An interpreted high level language that is used for what? General purpose programming, which is used for what? General purpose programming. But what, with the help of few popular libraries, with the help of what, the growth in the few popular libraries like NumPy, SciencePy, Matplotlib, Pandas, okay, it has become a very powerful environment for scientific computing, and which support artificial intelligence very nicely because of these libraries. Okay, the next advantage of Python will be like, Python code is often said to be like what, pseudo code. It's very compact. Okay, it's very small, but it is very expressive. It is very expressive. Okay, so what are the importance or benefits of Python? First one is it is very versatile, easy to use, and fast to develop. Easy to use, fast to develop, and versatile when compared to other programming languages. And the main advantage, I would say, the backbone is this: open source with a what, vibrant community. Open source is what, a vibrant community is one of the strongest point of Python. Whereas Java is not an open source. Okay, it is owned by Oracle. Yes or no? Java is owned by Oracle. You can just cross check it later on. And it has what, all the libraries you can imagine of. Python has all the libraries you can imagine of. Then how to search for those libraries? Okay, just go to python.org. Just search in Google what Python, then it will end up into what, python.org. Okay, here you will find what, how to download Python for different operating system, all the documentation, Python books. Okay, how to start as a beginner, how you want to, if you want to be a developer, what you should be doing, and what are the communities and success story, everything you have here. If you scroll it down, if you scroll it down a bit further here, if you are able to see, use Python for, what do you want to use? Okay, what do you want to do with Python? Whether you want to do what, web development, then these are all the packages available. Either you can use Django, Pyramid, Bottle, many things. Okay, if you want to do what, GUI development, so these are the packages or libraries available. And if you want to do what, scientific or numeric things, then you have what, SciencePy, Pandas, IPython. If you want to do what, software development, these are the things. These are what, your system administration supporting packages. If you want to see the complete list, you need to just click on more. It will redirect you to the page. There you can search for everything. Okay, clear? So these many packages we have. We have more than these packages. Click on them. You have all the documentation, everything with examples. You can learn because it is open source and you have a very good community. Okay, that is how generally we do. But everything has its own merits and demerits. Okay, limitations. So what are the main limitations of Python? One is what, speed limitation. It is slow. Okay, because of various reasons it is slow. So for the competition of Python, there are new languages coming on. Okay, like Shift. Okay, Shift to programming languages. Few. Okay, it is developed by what, Apple developers. Hmm? See, in 14 it has started. Okay, few, they are trying to develop few more programming languages to overcome the limitations of Python, but they have not yet, I would say, crossed Python. Don't know, they might. Okay, in down the line they might. Okay, so one is the problem with this, and we have one more problem with the threading concept. You might have heard of this threading concept in Java. Okay, that is here not available. And one more thing is, it is not native to what, mobile environment. Like or in .NET we have separate, in Java we have separate environment for mobile, but in Python we don't have separate kind of thing. Okay, but it supports some packages. Okay, that is the thing. Okay, and the version, if you see, uh, if you want to know what version you are using, so this is the command we use, that is hyphen, sorry, exclamation mark, Python 2 hyphens and version. When I run this command, So what is the version I am be using? I am be using what? 3.7.6. What is the latest version? You can go back and check here. Okay, download for so 3.10 is the latest version. See here. 3.10 is the latest version. But what version I'm using? I'm using 3.7. I'm comfortable with this and I have not updated. I'm be using these versions. Now coming back to basic data types. Okay, like most languages, okay, Python has a number of basic data types which includes integer, float, boolean, strings, and many more. But we'll be looking at only few basic data structures, data types. Sorry, not data structures, data types. Okay, number. See, if you want to declare an integer, you just give x is equal to 3. You'll not give like int, like in Java, C, C++. Generally, you got int x equal to 3. But here, no need to give int because Python is dynamically typed programming language. Because Python is what? Dynamically typed programming language. Here, the data type is decided by our interpreter while compilation. Good. So see, I have given what x equal to 3. Then I try using print function. I print x and then type of x. So run it. See here. What is there in x? 3. And what is the type of x? It is int type. And one more point to remember about Python is in Python everything is an object. In Python, everything is an object. Your data is an object. Your data type is an object. Your data structure is an object. Your function is an object. Anything in Python is just an object. That's why you're getting what? Class int. Okay, again, I don't want to go into concept of classes and objects. The same which you have learnt in your Java. Okay, fine. So it is an int type. So when I have declared it as an integer, can I do some mathematical operation? Yes, I can do it comfortably. If you want to add something, just add. If you want to subtract, you can subtract. If you want to multiply, just use multiplication. Okay, and if you want to do exponentially, you have what? Two stars. So for 3, I am adding 1, I am subtracting 1, I am multiplying it by 2, and then I am doing what? Exponential. That is 3 square equal to 9. See here, this is what? Shortcut of adding. Okay, if you want to add it to the same number, this is what? This is equal to what? X is equal to x plus 1. Okay, for this is the shortcut. Okay, so x value is what? 3. If you remember, x value is 3. For 3 it is adding 1. Here it is multiplying 2. So this is what? A shortcut of what? X is equal to x plus 1. Next, if you want to declare something as a float, just give the decimal value. Just give the decimal value. Now we'll try to see the type of y and then we'll do some mathematical operations on it. See, class float. It has given what? Class float. Previous case it was what? Like class int. Now it is what? Class float because it is dynamically typed. A point to remember, in Python we don't have what? X plus plus or x minus minus increment or decrement operator as we have in our C or C plus plus. Okay, so these are the things, but there are many more built-in types. Okay, like long integer, complex numbers, and many things. If you want to know about everything, see there is a link here, documentation. If you click on this, okay, the documentation will be opened. Okay, okay, if you click on this documentation will be open. You can just go through it. Here in numeric types we have integer, float, complex, in sequence, this everything, all the things are available here. Okay, okay, don't worry, after this session I will share this document with your coordinator, so they will in turn share with you. You just click on this, nothing new. I'm taking it from what? Docspython.org, the original documentation. That's it. Then we'll come to what? A boolean type. What is a boolean type? Either true or false. Okay, capital T are you true, capital FALC false. Okay, this I am assigning to what? T and F. Okay, so this true will go to tree and this false will go to F. Okay, No need to give like this. Like in other programming languages, generally we give like this: t is equal to true, and then f is equal to false. Okay, but here combinedly I can just give it like this. I can just give it what? T comma f is equal to true comma false. This true will go assigned to t and false will be assigned to f. Okay, now when I see the type of t or f, it will be give what? Bool. Bool stand for what? Booleans. Okay, and what are the operations you generally work on booleans? Those are what? Your end or not or the. Okay, t is for true, f is for false, which I have assigned. Okay, true and false is what? False. True or false is false. Not of true is what? False. Okay, true, the or of false is what? True. Okay, next coming to our next data type, that is strings. Okay, so here again I'm assigning what? Directly a variable is equal to hello, then w is equal to world. Here either you give single quotes or you give double quotes, it will not vary. Okay, whereas in C we use single quotes for character and double quotes for what? String. But here there is no concept of character, everything is string here. Okay, so either you use single quotes, either you use double quotes, it will not vary, it does not matter. Okay, so what I'm doing, print h, then we have a function len is a function which gives length of the string. Same thing, if you want to do it in a C, what you need to do, you need to write a program. You need to write a program, you need to divide the string into each character and count that characters. But here you can use the directly function what? Len. So see here, what is there in h? My hello, and then I am typing length is what? Length of w. Length of w is what? World. 1 2 3 4 5. So I got 5. Clear? Now suppose I want to add two strings. Adding two strings in C, again I need to write at least 3 or 4 lines of code. But here no need to do, just use plus symbol, it will add. But I want a space in between, so what I'm using h plus, I'm adding a space and then w. String concatenation, so easy. See, if you write only, see, delete. Okay, if I write h plus w, now see the output, I'll get hello world without a space. But if I want a space, I'm adding space to it, so I get a space. Okay, and how to use formatting? For formatting we use what? Empty flavor brackets. Okay, generally in C what we use here, if you remember, we use percentage d for integer. Okay, percentage f for float. Okay, percentage c for character. But here no need to do that, because this is a dynamically type. You just give empty thing, then you give dot format. So whatever is there you are given here will come here, h here, w here, and then this here. Okay, so I'm printing what? HWS. Okay, I will do one thing, I'll just say it as something like A, so it will be clear. Okay, see. Okay, what is there in h? If you remember, I already assigned h as what? Hello, w as world. So it is giving hello world, and I have given a number, that number here as it is. Okay, it has bunch of my in strings in Python has what? Bunch of useful methods. What are those methods? Capitalize, which is used to what? Convert your first letter into a capital letter. Okay, then you have what? Upper, means it converts everything into uppercase. Like you have, even you have your lower, and then R justified, central, and replace. Okay, one sec, one second, ma. Okay, R justified, and then you have what? Center and replace. Okay, what is that replace? You're trying to replace L with ELL. Okay, then what do you mean by strip? Strip means removing the spaces at the beginning and ending of the word. Okay, so here we run the output. Now see, first one capitalize. What capitalize will do? I have given first letter as capital. No, not I have given. It has converted. Okay. Likewise, upper is what? Everything has been converted into upper. R justified means adding spaces here. See, center means what? Keeping it at the center. Then here replace L means it will replace L with what? I have given now in brackets ELL. Then what do you mean by strip? Strip means removing the starting and ending spaces of a word has been removed. Likewise, we have still many more functions of strings. Again, you just click on this documentation. See, we have capitalized, we have case fold, center, count, to encode, end switch. It goes on. The list goes on. So based on your requirement, you have to search and you have to use. Okay, good. Am I clear up to here? Please raise your hand. Is it clear? Good. Only one is raising. Two, three. Okay. Very good. Okay. Good. 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 Okay. Next, those I would say a brief introduction about data types. It's only a brief introduction. Next, we'll start with what collections, containers types. Okay. Either containers or collection. In Python, Python has what four general purpose built-in containers. Okay. It has four general purpose. Generally these are the four which we learn, but there are few other things also, okay, that I will let you know. So what are this? First is what list, dictionary, sets and tuples. We have what list, dictionary, sets and tuple. Okay, what is a list? A list in Python is equivalent to an array. Okay, list is equivalent to an array in C, but with two more things. What is the first thing? First thing, it is resizable. Array in C is fixed, but here the list in Python is resizable. And one more thing, array in C is what? Of homogeneous type. It should contain what? Same data type, but here it is what? Heterogeneous type. That means it can contain what? Different data types. And one more a good advantage of list in Python is it even supports negative indexing. You might already know about what positive indexing in C, C++ or Java, but Python even supports what negative indexing. Okay, what is that? We'll be looking at it. Don't worry. So, how to create a list? To create a list, you should give all the data inside what square brackets. To create a list, you should give the data inside a square brackets. It will automatically dynamically it will treat it as a list. Okay, so I'm taking it access. Now I'm trying to see what the type of access. Now what will be the type of access? Type of access will be like class list. Why class list? Because already at the beginning of the session I said that everything in Python is an object. Okay, then I print the value. Then excess of 1. What is excess of 1? As you know, indexing starts from 0. So this index is 0, this index is what? 1. So here it will print me 3. Then what does the minus 1 will print? Minus 1 means indexing from the end. Okay, at the beginning the index starts from 0, 1, 2. But negative indexing is like, see here, observe carefully, it's minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. Now see the output. See, class list, my complete list, my 1. My 1 will give me what? My 3, because index here is 0, here 1 and here 2. And what is my minus 1? Here this will give me it as minus 1. Okay, now here this is homogeneous type. Yes or no? Everything is of type integer. In the list you have what? Type integer. Now what I try to do is at the second level, that is my third index value, I want to replace it with bat. Is it possible to do in C? Because it's working with all integers here, but I am trying to add what different type here. Now see here, what will happen? It has added. The 7 has replaced with bat. My integer has replaced with string comfortably, no error, nothing. Because list is what? Heterogeneous. It can contain different data types. Okay, likewise, there are many functions in list. There are many functions in list. Like what? Append function. Append function will add this at the end of the list. So if you observe carefully, we have what? We have 5, 3 and bat. When we append this, I get what? Ball. See here, 5, 3 that is as it is. Then I got ball. Okay, then when I go with what? Pop symbol. What pop does? Pop will just pop out the first thing. Pop will just pop out the first element from the list. Sorry, from the beginning, pop is last element from the list. It will remove what? Remove and return the last element from the list. That is ball. So ball is came out. Then the list remaining what? This. So append will add at the end of the list. Pop will pop out the item from the end of the list. Okay, 1 second. Give me 1 second of break, ma. Yeah, we'll continue. Okay, good. Next is what? Loops in list. Okay, so you can loop over what? All the elements in a list using for loop. Okay, here generally we have what? For with one more thing, that is in. Okay, in operator, with in operator. So suppose I have a list with name animals and which contain what? Cat, dog and monkey, which contains what? Cat, dog and monkey. Then what I do is, for ani, a variable name, in animals here. So I'm giving my list name, and then my in will pick out each and every item from this list and assign to ani. Then it will print it onto the screen. See, the output is cat, dog and monkey. So iterating over list is very simple in Python. You can not only list, you can iterate over anything in Python very easily using what? For and in operator. Okay, likewise you want to give what? Numbering to it. You want to give what? Numbering to it. So what I do is, see, I'm taking two variables. One is index variable and one is ani variable. Then here, instead of passing directly my list name, I'm using a function enumerate. Enumerate will generate numbers. Okay, enumerate will generate numbers, but because indexing start from 0, it will generate numbers from 0. So what I am doing? Okay, I'll do it later on. So enumerate will assign numbers to index. Okay, then animals, from animals one by one animal is assigned to ani. Then I am using formatting and printing it. Now the output, see, 0 index is cat, 1 index is dog, 2 is monkey. But if I want to give it as 1, 2, 3, what I do? Here I add index plus 1. What I have done? Here I added what? Index plus 1. Now if I run the code, I get what? 1, 2, 3. Clear, ma? Enumerate start will start from 0, but if you want to make it like 1, 2, 3, you just do this. Okay, there is very important function, that is a range function, which we rigorously use in our Python coding. Okay, what is that? Range. We use range to return what? A sequence of numbers. Using range, I can written what? A sequence of numbers. It has three arguments. Okay. First argument is start, second is stop, third one is step. Okay. Out of this, if you omit the first one start, so by default it will start from 0. And if you omit the step, it will be by default set to 1. Okay. And one point to remember in range is what? The range value will stop at what? Whatever stop value you are given minus 1. It will stop at that point. So for example, if I take print range of 5, so it will start from 0 by because the start value is by default 0, and where it will stop? It will stop at stop value minus 1, that is 4. And what will be the step value means incremented. So 0 will get incremented to 1, 2, 3, 4 and stop. Okay. So it is in turn converted as like the 0 comma 5, and when you print the value of range it will give 0 1 2 3 4. Clear? Suppose you want to print from 1 to 4, then what you will give? You will give 1 comma, sorry, here you will give 1 comma. Okay, here is that. 1 to 4. Do something. Okay, suppose I give 1 to 10 comma 2, 1 to 10 comma 2, so I'm telling to start from 1, end at 9. Okay, with step value 2, so there will be 2 increments. See here, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Suppose I want to print even numbers. Okay, from 2 to 10, so I start from 2 and here I give it as 11. When I run this, see here, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay, not only 2, you can give anything here. Okay, that is how we use range. Now if you want to convert that values into list, just use what? List of function, list of range of 5. It will convert that range values into a list. Square brackets given. See here, no square brackets. Okay. Likewise, you can use what? Slicing operation on it. Okay, slicing is also one of the important operation which we work on it. So see here, 2 to 4 means I'm giving the index value. Okay, if you remember, it is from what? 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, here my values are what? 1 2 3 4 5. When I give 2 3, see the output? 2 to 4. 2 to 4 means what? 0 1 2. It will give 2. 4 means it will stop up to 3. Yes or no? So it is what? 2 3. If I give 2 and I omit the ending part, so it will go up to end. It will start from 2 and it will go up to end. If I omit the starting part, it will start from the beginning and it will stop at what? Given value minus 1, that is 1. So it will give what? 0 1. If I omit both the things, it will give complete thing. Okay. Again, minus 1 is what? Starting from beginning. Minus 1, if you remember, index is the index of the last item. So last before item is what? 3. So it will stop from 0 to 3. Fine. And here I have skipped the middle part, ending part. It's similar like range only. Slicing is similar to range. I'm giving the step value 2. So it will take 1, then 3. Next is 5, which is out of the list. And you can do the replacement also very easily. In between 2 to 4, that is what? 2 and 3. Replace 2 and 3 with 8 and 9. So you got here 0 1 8 9 4. Okay, this is how slicing operation works. Okay, there is one more concept about list comprehension. What is list comprehension? List comprehension is an elegant way to define and create list based on existing list. You have already one list. Based on that list, you try to create one more list. What is that? Suppose I have this list. Okay, now I want one more list with squared values of this list. So what I do, I declare an empty list, squares equal to this, then using for loop, okay, I append every value from that list into the squares of that. See here. But this is not how we generally do. This is the longest way of doing. But the same thing. Understood the code now? I have a list. I have taken an empty list using for loop, using append function. I'm squaring and then I'm printing. The same. This all code can be done in a single line using single line. This is list comprehension, not the above one. Okay, what is this? I have a list. Compare the code. Same code. These three lines of code is replaced with this one line. Okay, so I've taken numbers, then I've taken square, which is equal to what? Square every value of that from num. Okay, now the output is same. For the both the things, output is same. You should only know there is a method known as list comprehension. Using that, you can create a new list using the existing list using only single line. No need to use for loop, no need to use append here. Okay, outside, inside it will do everything. So this is one way of creating lists. Okay, you can even add condition to it. Okay, here I have not added any condition. Here I am adding a condition saying that what if I want only even squared list. Okay, I want only 0, 4 and 16. See, so your condition using a condition also in a single line of code. That is what I have said. Python code is simple, compact, and expressive. Python code is simple, compact, and expressive. Suppose if I take a till now we have worked with what integers. Same thing I can work it out with what strings. Same thing I can work it out with the strings. See here, I'm dividing all the I'm dividing the string into different characters. Okay, instead of doing this everything, okay, you can just write what a string comprehension like this. You can do it. See here. Okay, clear. Before continuing, I would like to take a small vote from. Okay, do you want me to continue the basics of Python, or do you want me to show you some machine learning, a small project? You want to continue the same Python basics I can do, or else I can take a data set and show you some small project kind of thing. Okay,
Yeah, Srinivasan sir.
if any student would interact, it would be good. I'm okay with anything.
Students, do you want Python basics or any coding concept is required for you? I think the
Just
moderator can explain. I think there is a moderator for this webinar.
okay. You do one thing. Fine. If you want same thing to be continued, raise your hands. Okay. If you want, okay. Only one has raised. Good.
I think Mr. Mujib, the EC
Yes, sir.
students also, EC and triple E students are also there, it seems.
Okay.
So I think they need some fundamentals, right?
Okay. Fine. I'll do one thing. I'll go through. See. One second. Sir, can you wait, sir, please? Okay. I'll do one thing. I'll go through the basics a bit fast. Hardly in 5 or 10 minutes, I will finish off the basics, and I will share this document with your coordinator. Okay, you can go through this document. Everything is clearly written with explanation. You have seen now. Okay, all the supporting files and everything is provided. After that, I will take a small project. okay, data analysis thing, and I will show you, okay, how Python is used in real time. Okay, because we are left with only half an hour, I'll try to finish it off okay, before the, not before, exactly on the time. Is this fine with you? I'll make the basics fast, I'll not go this slow, and then I'll show you on project. Yes, raise your hand if you're happy. Yes, yeah, thank you, thank you. Okay, next data type is what? Dictionaries. In dictionaries, we have what? Key value pair. We have what? Key and value pair. These are similar to like maps in Java. Okay. Introduction, I'll give it slow, but operations you can look at it later on. So, how to declare a dictionary? It should be declared using what? Flavor brackets with colon in between. So, see here, cat is a key and the value is cute. Then dog is a key and the thing is value is furry. Okay. uh, I don't want to go into what is a mutable and how mutable words, what are the unmutable data types. These are small things which you can learn on your own, don't worry. So I have declared a dictionary. Then I try to print what? D of cat. Now can you guess what is the output of D of cat? D of cat will give me the value. What is the value of cat? Cute. Okay, then we have one more function already we have seen in. Okay, here it will tell whether cat is there in D or not. If it is there, it will return true, or else it will return false. See here, when I try to print D of cat, that is using key, when I try to print the value is what? Cute. Then cat is there in D, yes, so it returns true. Okay, suppose you want to update the value, how will you update? You will use D of cat is equal to flexible. No, cat becomes, instead of cute, becomes what? Flexible. Okay, if you want to add a new entry, okay, new entry, what we do? D of fish is equal to wet. So I have what? Cat is equal to cute, dog is equal to furry. Now I'm adding what? Fish is equal to wet, has been added successfully. There are few operations that dictionary support, that is what? D of key. If I give D of key, all the keys are listed. What are the keys? I have what? Cat, dog and fish. If I want only values, then I have a function D of values that will give me only the values. What are the values? Flexible, furry and wet. If I want both the things, then I have what? D of item. See, all set together. Cat is flexible, dog is furry, fish is, understood now? Key will give me only keys, value will give me only values, item will give me the complete set. Okay, if I use D of monkey, monkey is not there, so it will throw an error. Okay, how to handle that error? I have given it here with explanation, you go through it. If you want to remove anything, you can use a function del. Within del function you can remove. Okay, same thing, how to iterate using for. Okay, using for you can iterate, and I'll show you the output. See here, here I written a dash has dash legs. I'm using format. I'm taken what? Animals and legs. Okay, what are animals and legs? Animals and legs are assigned from D of item. D of item will have what? Key and the value. So key value. A person has 4 legs, a cat has 2 legs, a spider has 8 legs. Like in list comprehension, I do have dictionary comprehension. Using the existing list, you can create one more dictionary. Okay, next is what? Our set. Okay, set, they have what? Two conditions. What are the two conditions of sets? One is it does not maintain any insertion order. That means whereas my list and my dictionary maintain the insertion order. If you remember, there was cat and dog. When I added fish, fish came at to last only. Even in list using append, whatever I add, it gets added to last only. But set will not maintain any insertion order. Okay, that is one thing. And next thing, it will not even allow duplicates. So these are the two things. Whenever you don't want to add duplicates, then you can use set. Fine. So here I have animal, I have what? Cat and dog. I'm using flavor bracket, but I'm not using columns because I'm not using columns. This is not a dictionary. This is a set. See here. If cat is there in the animal, true. If fish is in the animal, no. Okay. When you try to add fish, fish gets added comfortably. Now see here, I will prove you. It will not accept any. Now what is the length of animals? If you observe, length of animal is 3. Then I add cat and dog to it. Then I print animals. Then I will see the what? The length of animals. See, at the beginning length is 3 only. Even after adding also, my length is 3 because it will not accept duplicates. Cat is already there. Cat is already there. Dog is already there. So it will not. Even if you try to add, it will not throw an error. Okay, but it will does do nothing. So length is same, but if you want to remove using remove, you can remove. So I removed cat. Now the length become 2. Okay, likewise you can use loops on it and you can do set comprehension. Our last data type which we are going to discuss is tuple. Okay, tuple is immutable. Our remaining 3 data types are all mutable, but whereas tuple is immutable. What do you mean by immutable? You can't change once it is created. That's it. Okay, so here I use what? Parenthesis. Instead of flavor brackets, I use parenthesis. T of 1, 2, 3. Then use type of T and print T. See here. What is T? It is class tuple and these are the values. You can use tuples in dictionaries, okay, as a key because key will not accept any duplicate, because it is fixed. Key, whereas keys in dictionaries are also immutable, which cannot be changed, but value can be changed. Okay, cat was cute and then cat was flexible. I can't change cat, which is a key, but I can change the values. The same thing here. Okay, this is about data types, but there are other specialized containers, okay, which are supported by Python. The documentation is here. You click on this. See here. Generally, anywhere we go, only we use means we come across only this dictionary, list, set, and table. But there are few other things also. Okay, there are. Srinivasan sir, can you mute yourself? Hmm. See here. Okay, these are the additional containers or collections which we can use after you try to, okay, learn about this, and based on the situation you can use them. Okay, all the explanations and everything is given here. Okay, example, everything, go through this one. Sorry. Okay, in Python we can declare function using def. Okay, simple thing, you can just go through it more. Normal only thing is functions are defined using what? Def keyword, and this is the function name, these are your arguments, and based on that you can call your function. Okay, I'm calling it a sign of x. I'm passing 3 values. Based on these 3 values I get positive, negative, or 0. Okay, there is only concept you should know about this is what? Default arguments. Okay, default arguments is one thing you should know about functions. Remaining all what are there in C++ are there in Python also. Then coming to classes, okay, object oriented programming thing. Okay, here we need to know few things. Okay, first thing you should know about what is a constructor, as you might have learnt in your C++ or in Java. Okay, constructor, using constructor what we can do, we can initialize a variable, okay, then you should know the difference between what is a static variable and an instance variable, the difference between static variable and an instant variable. If you want a default value to be same across multiple things, then you go with static kind of thing. And if you want example, I take an example. Suppose I am maintaining a class for faculty. Okay, so here I need to print what? The ID number, name, institution and location. Okay, institution is same for everyone, so I declare institution name as a static variable. But whereas ID number and name changes, that's why I declare them as what? Instance variables. So ID number and name. In location, what I'm doing, I'm designing this for Geetam Hyderabad. So in constructor, I am defining it as what? Location is equal to Hyderabad. This I am fixing. Okay. So what I do, first I create a uh, ob- sorry, I create an object f1, then I call the method assign, then I assign the values 101 and Raj. So when I print it, see here. Okay, I need to run this and I run this. See, I have passed only ID number and name. From where this institution name came? It came from my static variable. And from where my location came? My location came from my constructor. Okay. Suppose I have given what? I have given what? Instead of giving empty here, I have given Bangalore. I have Geetam in Bangalore also. So here see the change. Because in constructor I have given a default value as Hyderabad, it is printing Hyderabad. But while creating a variable, if you give some other value, okay, it will change that. See here, I have not given name, so it is printing NA. This is the ID number. Institution is fixed static. Okay, then location updated to Bangalore. Okay, this is a kind of a brief thing about Python. Now what I do, I'll take one uh, logistic regression. We try to solve one logistic regression with Python. Okay, again I don't want to go into concept of what is logistic, what is regression, everything. Okay, try to see the output, what is happening, what we can do. Okay, I'm downloading a data set from Kaggle. Have you heard of Kaggle? Have you heard of Kaggle website? Raise your hands if you heard of Kaggle. No, you should know. Being fourth year, at least you should know what is Kaggle. See, Kaggle is your what? Machine learning and data science community. Okay, please after this session just log into Kaggle. Okay, create an account. It is free. Here you have competitions. Here you have data sets. Okay, here you have solutions. See, your data sets. Here competitions are there. Coding are there. Okay, you will find coding of many things. Many problems solved here. Okay, this is what a open forum. You get question, answer everything. A best way to learn what? Machine learning in Python. Okay, from here I have downloaded one dataset, that is Titanic dataset. I hope you know the story of Titanic. Yes or no? Do you know story of Titanic? Have you seen the movie Titanic? Raise your hands. Only one, two. Good. We know that Titanic sank. Yes or no? మునిగిపోయింది అవునా కదా. Okay, so I have a data set of Titanic which I downloaded from Kaggle. Okay, here I have a uh, what columns I am having. See, I have my what survival column. If the passenger survive or not, what is the class of that passenger, what is the name of that passenger, what is the sex of that passenger, what is the age, okay, number of sibling on board, okay, number of parents on board. Okay, if mother and father came, so this will be two. If only father or mother came, it will be one. If no parents are on board, it will be zero. What is the ticket number? What is the fare? What cabin they were? Okay, if you remember, he stopped at three ports. Okay, so from which port did the passenger boarded the boat, and how many lifeboats were there? Okay, if not survived, a body number might have been given. So this is the data which I am having with me right now. Okay, now I want to run logistic regression on that with the help of Python. Okay, so first thing first, what is the first thing? I need to import some libraries. What are the libraries which I generally use? I'm using pandas, numpy, matplotlib, seaborn. Okay, you need to learn about every of them separately. Okay, this is numerical Python. This is used to interact with data set. These two are used to draw plots. Okay, so I run it. Then I take my data. Okay, I'm loading my data. I have loaded my data. Okay, after loading my data, I'll just see what is the head. Head means will give me first 5 columns. Okay, so this is my data here. So passenger ID, whether if he survived, it is 1, if not survived, 0. What is the passenger class? What is the name, sex? What is the age? Number of sibling on board? Number of parents on board? What is the ticket, fare, cabin number? Embarked. Okay, you know one thing, majority of our work or a machine learning or a data scientist work goes on cleaning of the data. Cleaning of the data. Here you see NN. What is NN? NN means what? Not a number. Okay, so this is my data. Okay, I can't modify my data, it is fixed. Now what I do is, mm, 1 second, will clear the outputs. Good. So I uploaded my data. Now I've seen my data. Now I want to know how many nulls are there in my data. I want to know how many nulls are there in my data. So wherever you find true, so in cabin I have true. In age also I have true. So definitely there are some nulls. How to calculate? See, there are total 891 rows, but it is showing top 5 rows and bottom 5 rows. I want to know where all nulls are there. So what I do exploratory data analysis. EDA stands for what? Exploratory data analysis. I want to know what the missing data. So what I do, I create an heat map. Heat map using what? Seaborn. SNS stands for what? My Seaborn. So if I run this, see here, I am telling wherever there is yellow color is my missing data. Wherever there is yellow color is my missing data. If you observe carefully, in age also I have missing data, in cabin also I have missing data. But more missing is there in what? Cabin. So what to do with cabin will decide later, to keep it or to drop it. But there is very less amount of missing data in age. Here I don't want to drop age. Okay, because age will be one of the crucial column I need for my EDA or logistic regression. So what I do, okay, roughly there are 20-30% of age data missing. So what I'll do, I'll tell you what we'll do with age and cabin. Remember these two columns, age and cabin. Okay, what first of all we'll try to look at the data, okay, in different angles. So I create one more plot to see how many survived and how many died. See here, 0 is means who did not survive. There are more than 500 passengers who did not survive, and there are about 350 passengers who survived. As we know, there were few lifeboats. Okay, using that lifeboats, few passengers got survived. Okay, fine. I have taken this Titanic dataset because if I take another data sets like some empty cars or Irish dataset or flights dataset, you can't picturize that because Titanic is known to you all, okay, and we all have seen that movie. You can relate these outputs with that movie, a picture in your mind, okay. So at least we know li- uh, more than survivors there are deaths. Same thing have been proved this graph. Don't go into that numbers, strictly to that numbers, but we know that. Okay. Now tell me, male survived more or female survived more in Titanic cinema? Male survived more or females? If you remember the scene, first preference were given to females and children, they were allowed to take up the lifeboats. Yes or no? See here. Zero means what? Those who did not survive. Okay. Who died more? Males died more when compared to females. And compared to, see, pink is for female, blue is for males. In comparing, when come to survival rate is more for females. Yes or no? Lifeboats were given to females first, and few males accommodate them. What for rowing and everything. And if you remember, at last, villain also what jumped into a survival boat, lifeboat. Okay, is this graph true? See, try to relate this. Okay, now we'll talk about class. Which class of people survived more? Class 1, 2, 3. Which class? See, coming to death rate. Okay, blue for class 1, light blue for class 2, and orange for class 3. See, if you remember, class 3 people were there at the bottom of the ship. First, bottom of the ship sank. So many died from class what? Class 3. Okay. In class 1, people were given first preference to evacuate the boat. So, so here they have many things. But at the end of the movie, if you remember, all the class 3 people came up, they fought and they taken the boats. Okay. But many of them already died here. Relating this, everything I'm using Python only, ma. This everything only two lines of code. Everything is what? Two lines of code, not more than that. If you want the same thing in C, C++, Java, I don't know how many lines of code we need to write. Okay. Now coming back to our thing. Okay. Now coming back to our. So what are the two columns I'm concentrating on? I'm concentrating on age and cabin. Okay. Now I draw a plot to see which age people are more. If you observe carefully, see here, there are more people from age between 20 to 30. Here, 20 to 30 age people are more in the boat, because if you remember class 3, okay, class 3 people are young, our hero is young, our heroine is young, our villain is young, only our captain is old. If you remember, okay. So many people are in between the age of 20 to 30. Okay, same thing. Now I want to know the siblings. Okay, how many siblings are there? Okay, zero. About 600 passengers, there were no siblings. In about 200 passengers, there are only one sibling. Few are having two, three, four, five, or maximum eight siblings were there. Okay, now this is the cost. Okay, only few paid a higher cost. Okay, and if you see, few did not even pay. Okay, around 500 people did not pay because they were what, staff of or Titanic. Even hero also did not pay, he slipping through. Okay, now we'll start about what, our data cleaning. This was what, EDA. Okay, now we'll see data cleaning. What I do, based on the class 1, class 2, class 3, I would like to find out the average age of those people. So class 1 average age is around 37. Okay, class 2 average age is around 28 or 29, and class 3 average is around 24. So class 1 average age is 37, class 2 average age is 29, class 3 average is 24. So what I do, my class, if you remember, in my age column, I have what, yellow means what, null values. So based on that class, I'm just replacing those age with values based on their class. Okay, I'm not going into code. Based on the class, if class is 1, I'm putting age as 37, if class is 2, age as 29, or else means class 3, that is 24. I run this code, I replaced Now you see the my heat map. See here. Remember my old heat map? One second, I'll scroll it up. See, this was my old heat map. Yellow, yellow, yellow. Okay, these yellows based on the average age, based on the passenger class, I have replaced the age. So this is my current thing. See, everything gone. Now we'll try to concentrate on cabin. Cabin in age it was like 20 or 30% of missing data. In cabin it is 80 to 90% of missing data, and I don't feel like replacing those values with something else. So what I do is I just delete the cabin column. I just delete the cabin column. So what I do, drop. I drop the cabin. Okay. Now I see the head. Now I see my heat map. If I see the heat map, my age cleaned, my cabin dropped, and there is one more small yellow in embarked. Okay. So what I do, I even drop that. Okay. I even drop that. So now my data is clean. Now my data is clean. There is no missing value. Now on this data, do whatever you want. You want to do logistic regression, you want to do classification, you want to do clustering. Okay. You want to do anything, you can do anything. So what we are concentrating on logistic regression. Logistic regression only works on what? What's on numeric data. It will not work on what? Categorical data. Okay, what is categorical data? For example, a sex is there. It will not work on male or female. It will work on either one or zero. Okay, so what I do, I try to what? Drop all those sex, embark, name, and ticket. These are not my continuous values. These are my categorical values. So these categorical values I am dropping. But I have cleaned the data. From here, you can choose any technique, whatever you want. See here, how to know? Using train.info. If you see age, see name is an object, sex is an object, ticket is an object, embass is an object. Okay, these are not integers or floats. So I am dropping these things. Okay, before dropping, what I am doing, so I'm not interested in name and ticket, but I'm interested in sex and embass. So for sex, I'm creating dummies, means I'm converting those into category values into what? Numerical values. I've done, then I'm dropping it. Now see. So where is that? One second. See here. I have numerical values, I have name, I have sex, and this ticket number. This all I have dropped. I have only left with what now? Numerical values. Okay. For these numerical values, what I am doing here, I have created my what? Section emboss now that I am adding here. See here. Either it will be male or female. So if it is male, here it will be one. If it is passenger one is two is, sorry, passenger yes, two is female, it will come one here. Okay, already I told there are only three ports, C, Q, and S. So where are the ports? So here I have converted my categorical data, okay, into my numerical data using dummies concept. Okay, now I try to build what? My logistic regression. Okay, I will try to build what? My logistic regression. For building logistic regression, I need to have what? Training data. For that, I drop my what? Survival thing. This is what it needs to predict now. So I'm dropping that. Then I have taken that head. See, from sklearn model, I'm importing train test split. What is train test split? To train and model, I need, sorry, to test and model, to develop and model, first I need to train that model. Okay. If I divide the train and test split manually, I can be biased. So I tell my system to divide it randomly. What I do, I just give the split size. What is the split size? If I give 30% means 70% will be on training and 30% will be on test. Okay, if you want to increase, you can increase. or decrease, whatever you want. Now here I have done only train test split. Then using logistic regression, okay, I have created my model. Only two lines of code, that's it. First line, call the regressor, then you just create that model. You want to train test split, call the model, sorry, call that function, divide it into split. Done. అయిపోయింది. It has model has been created. Now what I do, I just predict it. I just predict. Okay. After prediction, what I do, I try to calculate the accuracy. And what is the accuracy of my model? Accuracy of my model is 82%. How to calculate accuracy? Again, no need to write all the formulas. Okay. From the accuracy, you just call accuracy score. You give the values what are the original values and what your model has predicted, and it will give my accuracy 82%. My model accuracy is what? 82%. Okay, if you want to know about everything, precision, recall, F1 score, support, what the accuracy, what is the weighted average, everything it will come on a only single line of code. Only single line of code. Only thing you should know is from where what to import. That you can do with the help of Google. Very simple, ma. Okay, this you can explore many things. Okay, like we can try to grab the titles, okay, from the same features, okay, and maybe we can use what cabin letters which are dropped, okay, and even I can try to do get some information from my ticket so that I can increase the accuracy. My now accuracy 82%, I can try to increase more. Okay, like these problems, solutions, everything are available in my Kaggle. Okay, just type, I told you about Titanic now. Okay, Titanic data set or Titanic competition. You click on this. Okay, even code you get code from various persons. See, different types of code. You can do everything. Ma. Try to explore this Kaggle.com. Okay, this webinar thing and this EDA thing I'll share with your coordinators. Okay, you can just go through it. Ma. Python is very easy to learn. It's not so difficult. Okay, only we should know from where we should learn. Okay, that all things I have provided in this document. Okay, and Google is the best place to learn. I hope you enjoyed the session. I am okay to take up few doubts from your side. I am right on time. Okay, there are many more things we can learn. We can see only to learn one package I can take up to 1 day. For NumPy I can take 1 day. For Pandas 1 day. It's not so simple. What I have just thrown a light onto the concept. I would say like, okay, only a brief introduction. You can explore more on your own. Ma. Everything you can learn on your own. It's not so difficult. Okay, a right path is enough for you. Over to the coordinators.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Muzib.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Students, do you have any doubts? Hope the coordinators can deal the problems or doubts raised by the students.
So they are saying that they don't have any doubts regarding with that, sir.
Okay, good.
Okay. Right. Thank you very much, Dr. Muzib. You have explained about the basics of Python, and one by one, they have clarified the differences between high-level language like C, C++, and as well as Python. So how much code is required for a simple application in the C language, and what is the beauty of Python programming language? Like it will take very less code and easy to understand and easy to implement also, right? And also have explained about regression analysis by taking the example of a Titanic example, the regression analysis. So these are all the real-time applications, dear students. So these are all the real-time applications. Most of the companies are expecting such type of real-time examples to be solved by the students. And also you have raised a point like Kaggle data sets, right? It is very important. It is everyone can make the membership with this Kaggle, and I can do it when I take the charge in that college, right? And dear students, hope you have received fruitful information through this webinar on Python. And I hope the coordinators, if you want, you can say something. If no, we can sign off this session, sign off this webinar. Thank you, Dr. Muzib, for your time and as well as energy that you have shown on this webinar, that you have explained very nicely, very clearly about the basics and as well as the real-time applications of this Python programming language, which is very important nowadays. In Hyderabad, we both are in Hyderabad right now. We are in Geetam University, and I am in some other private college in Hyderabad. And even yesterday, I went to some high-tech city, that is some software companies in high-tech city, to do favor to the students who are in this screen today. That is Madhusudan sir screen and Chandrakala madam's screen, right? And the most of the company CEOs and as well as HRs are talking about the technologies that the student should know, like how basically how efficient they are in that particular subjects like Python or C or C++ or Java or what are the programming language maybe. If it is for electronic students, MATLAB and as well as PSpice software, that is simulation softwares. But one thing is to be important that we have to highlight here is that any programming language, it may be C or Python or whatever it may be, if you are perfect in that programming language, I think you will become masters in the world. So that is what the company people are expecting from the students. Of course, I'll have separate session on 18th or 19th with all my students at that college. So I can discuss very clearly about our vision and as well as the points to be noted down. So once again, thank you very much, Dr. Muzi, and
Thank you.
the coordinators of this webinar like Madhusudan, Reddy Prasanna, Reddy Murali, Mr. Srinivasan Kachodi, and other members. Thank you, students. I think you got the essence of this Python programming language. We will conduct many such programs, many such webinars, many such even workshops and as well as conferences also in the college. The only thing is that you should be energized by having such type of discussions and also know about the topics, right? Thank you very much. Bye.
Yeah. Thank you, coordinators and Gridha sir, for giving this opportunity to me, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, sir.